We're in a time period where rent is high, house inventory is low, and many people are getting caught in the system. I thought to myself today that if I don't purchase a house while I'll have a good job on the books, getting a house without having a job would be almost impossible. Because unless you're going to buy cash to get a mortgage, you need the W 2, you need the credit, and you need the ability to buy. And in my career, being laid off at times, I know that a layoff can come at any time. And so I've been thinking to myself, man, if I don't find a home and if something happens to my main job, I'm caught in the system. Then I have to rent at a high price or stay as a nomad. And I am caught in this algorithm of never really controlling my destiny or controlling my home, controlling my environment. And I have now a little bit more empathy for those who struggle to find affordable rental. And even when you rent, it's almost like getting a mortgage, okay? The landlord wants to see your job income. We have a viewer, Hal. He just went through that. They want to see, your pay stubs. They want to check your credentials. And you're still subject to their approval. The same as when a bank approves you or doesn't approve you for a mortgage. You're up against the same thing, but with a landlord. And so you have to be very careful. I have to be very careful here that I don't rush, but I don't get caught in the system. As a middle-aged man, I'm at a crossroads in life. I went on a journey 4 years ago to control more of my destiny, to sell my house in New Jersey, relocate to Florida, and try to live the rest of my life below my means. And even when you live below your means, you still need a main job and you still need a side hustle. Because without income, you're always going to be caught in the system. And even with income can change like this. You can be living high on the hog, and then you can be searching for a job. Many people are caught in that predicament now where they don't know if they want to sell their house. Because if they sell their house, they're scared they're not going to find another affordable house. And that's why many people end up just staying put. Now, I will never stay in an area I'm not inspired. I would not stay in New Jersey. And I don't have a family, so I have that luxury. Andre, good to see you, brother. Frank and Kat, good to see you. I hope you're heading to work soon. Shout out to everyone doing the night shift. My man Tony from Canada, he says, still can't get used to seeing Sam living large like a Roman Caesar. Well, I appreciate that. I'm paying the price, $170 a night. I found that if you stay for more than 30 days, it's $100 a night at this hotel. Now, that's over $3,000 a month, not including taxes. So you say, well, I live now. Look, I am in a nicer hotel. Okay, I spent 4 years on the road, never been in a hotel the entire time. So, like I said, yesterday I got the second COVID shot. I said I'm going to treat myself for a week. And overall, the second shot of COVID, I got the Moderna vaccine. It's been better than the first. But today I was a little tired, so I'm glad that I had the hotel. And this has given me an opportunity to reflect on my next step in life. And I did look at that, Tony, and everyone. I looked at, all right, well, if I can't find a house, and I almost found a couple houses, but maybe, I just wasn't ready. I'm closer than I've ever been. And I think now, especially with the second shot behind me, I was really thinking about that, especially that, now how I understand living in your car, now living in a hotel these past couple nights. I understand what you pay for and what you deal with and what you get back. Good to see you, ESP. She goes, yeah, how are you feeling? Yeah, overall, again, I feel 100% better than I did after my first shot. So it's the second day going on my second shot, and the only thing I felt today was tired. I really don't have any pain, really don't have any headaches, a slight fatigue and like a light body ache, but overall good, so I'm grateful for that. Hope you're doing well, ESP. Hal, great to see you. I was thinking about you. Again, Hal's a great viewer. Great guy. Got caught. He worked in the hotel industry. He gave me a lot of pro tips yesterday about when you rent a hotel, what to look for, and the different ins and outs. He was like, a manager at a hotel or like at a similar level, right? Where he has a lot of experience in the industry. And, and Howell got laid off with the coronavirus. Now he's getting back on his feet and he recently got a new rental. But he was sharing was we've been praying for him that, he had to go through this couple week process of getting approved to even be able to rent a place. And so I thought about today as I was sitting and reflecting on my life. I said, man, I got to be careful not to get caught in the system. If I don't buy a house now while I have a good job on the books and I can get a mortgage, uh, I'm either stuck with having to pay cash for a house or, something can happen, right? Where I get laid off and I hope it doesn't happen. I don't think, hopefully it won't. But yeah, I always think, what happens worst case scenario? You get laid off. I got enough money to survive. But buying a house is off the table because, the mortgage wants to see that you've been working at least for 6 months straight, something like that. And so then I'm subject where I have to rent. Now, could I find a decent rental? I've been looking at rentals. And I have found some studio or one bedroom apartments in decent areas for around 1,000, which isn't bad. But again, you put your security deposit, again, you get approved. And again, you're living under someone's rule and they're not nice, not as nice as this hotel. So do I really want to kind of like they say, waste money or waste time? Well, again, it's providing shelter. It's not a waste. But for me, it's like, I don't know. So I said to myself, man, this is how people get caught in the system. You really kind of have to strike when the iron's hot, but at the same time, I'm not going to rush because rushing leads to regret. But I said to myself, you got four options, I guess, in life. One is you buy a house. Two is you rent. Three is you live in a hotel. Or four is you nomad. So again, the average rental is $1,200 a month. The average mortgage is around $1,500 a month, not including insurances. The nomad life, I think you need at least $1,000 a month, $1,200 a month. And living in a hotel could easily be $3,000 a month, depending on the type of the hotel. Keeping up with Bree, $1.99 super chat. Keeping up with Bree. Thank you for that gracious tip. Hey, you also. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for all the love and positivity, the support. Appreciate you, Bree. Stay beautiful. Stay positive. Try not to let this world get you down. And thank you for that gracious tip. Very much appreciated. Very much keeping up with Bree. Keeping up with Bree is a young woman, okay, in her 20s. And, young people are faced with this. Again, I bought my first condo at the age of 22. Now, I had a good job. I was an apprentice electrician, and that was a good job at the time with no kids. It still is. But I wouldn't have been able to purchase my house without help from my parents, which led to an entanglement, which kind of puts fear back in me that I don't want to be on the hook to anyone. So, what do I say to someone in their 20s? Well, again, I tell you that, if you don't have kids, you're ahead of the game because you could just worry about yourself. If you have a family, you have to think about someone other than yourself. And you really have to, be careful not to get entangled with family when it comes to buying a house or renting, because you're never going to live that down. Like I said, it'll be 10 years later, and your father or your mother, and they're going to bring, something's going to happen, and they'll bring it up, and it's never the same, you thank God that you got the help. But you also realize you're never going to be an independent adult if your parents help you with something like a house, Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take the help, but I'm just saying you got to be careful. You got to be careful. And I have a lot more empathy, because I am, living like a homeless person. I have more resources than a homeless person, but I thought about today. I said, man, this is how people get caught in the system. Especially if you don't have a job. Like if you have a job, you're in good shape. I mean, obviously, again, you always have to work in life unless you got an inheritance. It's going to be very hard not to work. And again, a main job and a side hustle is what I always recommend. So, but again, even when you work, there's going to be periods where either you get laid off or, maybe you have a little downtime. And so when you're caught in that loop, it's like when it rains, it pours, Now, I believe in God's grace, everything works out. But it's like when you're down, you have no leverage, and it's like everyone knows it, you know. Uh, you know, and so I want to and being that I've been down and I've been up and I've been in the middle, I always have, I guess, a little bit of a healthy fear that, what happens if I go down again? Because right now I'd say overall things are up, but I feel that, you can never guarantee on them staying up because I know life. I've been through life. And I remember when I got laid off when I owned a house and I had to borrow money from family and from banks. And I took out a second mortgage on my house. And then the housing crisis happened. And for about 7 years, I owed more money on my house than it was worth. And a lot of people don't remember that, or, because it's been like, whatever, 10, 15 years since that point. And now, it seems like houses have been going up every year. And now inventory is at an all-time low. And so people just assume that things continue on a certain path. But it's not the case. Good to see you, Timothy. But we're going to go to all live comments. But my opening statement is this. The way you get caught in the system is if you're not in a house and if you get laid off, getting a house is going to be almost impossible unless you're able to pay cash or you have enough money to rent or whatever to sustain yourself until you get another job. And then when you get a new job, you're going to have to wait 6, 12 months to get enough consistency with a company where the bank is going to approve you without a cosigner. And even when you are renting, if you're not currently renting and you're nomading, to get into a rental, if you go into one of these down periods where you have, and again, even successful people have had downturns, millionaires, billionaires, they've went bankrupt, right? So you can't say that even the smart people don't fail, but, they may know how to play the system better. But what I want to tell you is life is ups and downs. It's just the way it is. Doesn't matter if you're very rich or very poor, obviously, because even rich people, they lose everything sometimes. So the main thing is keep moving, keep working, side hustles, etc. Because if you stop moving, if you stop working, life gets harder, not easier, and you definitely get caught in the system. Now, the other way, obviously, if you can't work, or if you're caught in this bad part, you go on like subsidized housing, and I know some people that are on that, but usually those apartments tend to suck, and the environment tends to suck. But again, when you don't have no other options, you take what you can take. And, and then again, too, like I say, even if you use that as a home base and you stay out of the apartment, at least you have somewhere to go back to that's better than many other places. But I thought about all this today, and I thought about the system. And again, we're blessed to be in a first world country. And if you don't believe me, ask someone who lives in the Philippines, ask someone who lives in Argentina, ask someone who lives in Italy. Okay, even though Italy would not be considered a third world country, my parents, my grandparents, excuse me, came from Italy for a reason. More opportunities in America. So I still want to be grateful that in America, I definitely don't want to complain sitting here from a $170 hotel room. And all of you watching me have internet. Now, for the past 4 years, I've been broadcasting live from an all-night gas station. So I'm not scared to do what I have to do. But I am a little bit scared now that I'm going to get caught in the system. That if I don't get a house while I have a good job on the books and things are going well, if I stay as a nomad and things take a downward turn, I'm going to be caught in the algorithm of paying a high price for rental because I have no choice, or staying on the road, and God forbid if I get sick, having to pay for a $100 a night hotel. Now, again, can you get a cheaper hotel? You can stay in Motel 6 for about $50 a night in a bad neighborhood. But, even $50 a night, $50 times 30, there's 30 days in a month. Oh, and that doesn't include taxes. What does that give you? Well, let's do the math. 50 times 30, I believe that's 1,500, but let me double check. Yeah, 1,500. That doesn't include taxes. After taxes, you're probably around 1,600, 1,700. Average rent is 1,200. So my thoughts tonight are be careful that you don't get caught in the system. Because it's like anything in life. Once you get caught in something, it's hard to get out. Again, be grateful that if you're in a first world country, it's better than being in a third world country system where you ain't getting out of nothing. Even no matter how hard you work, there's so much corruption, so much lack of opportunity. So always remember to be grateful. But that is what I wanted to share. Those are my thoughts tonight. I hope they help you. We're going to go to all live comments now. Gratitude to all my members, new and old. Gratitude to keeping up with Bree. Very gracious on the super chat. Thank you. And I'm going to take a hydration break. And guys, I'm getting all of free ice. They got an ice machine. Okay, they got a laundry mat in this hotel. Okay, they got pools. I didn't go to the pool today. I didn't go to the gym because I was a little tired today. I just mainly stayed. I went for a couple walks outside, but I mainly stayed in the hotel, worked, which was very comfortable to work in an air conditioner and have my laptop up. And I was very grateful for that, especially when you're feeling down. And as I get older, look, I'll be 41 soon. I'm still middle age. I think about this more. Again, when you're younger, 20, 30s, you both through, even 40s, 50s, not too bad. When you get into your 60s, 70s, and even now, look, guys, I want to add some stability because I want to hedge my bets. I don't want to get caught in the system. So that's how I feel tonight. We're going to go all off comments, guys. Thank you again. Guys, it feels great being in a hotel. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, I looked at the long-term stay thing, today, like how that works and stuff like that. And I downloaded a couple of the hotel apps to get some points, brother. Shout out to you, man. Yeah, this is the life, man. I'm not even gonna lie about it. Feels good. Andre, great to see you, man. Again, thank you for joining. Thank you for all your positive love. Shout out to New Jersey. Frank and Cat, great to see you. Looks like you got the night off. Enjoy. You work hard. Shout out to everyone working the night shift. I worked the night shift for a few years in my 30s. It was great. Even my late 20s. It was great. I did a side job during the day. I did electrical contracting during the day. I worked maintenance at night. And it was a great experience. Less politics at night, but it's harder to move up the corporate ladder when you work the night shift because you're not exposed to the prime business hours, which are pretty much 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. But there's a season for everything, and when you're younger, it's a great season, and when you're older, it could be a great season. In the middle of your career, you want to try to max out your full earning potential. And as part of the game, look, part of making more money is dealing with more politics. I did a video today about more stuff, more problems. Look, the higher you go up, the more politics you got to deal with. But the more money you make, the more control, the more perks. And I thought about that, when I was thinking about buying a house. I said, Sam, look, this was like when you didn't want to come off the night shift and work the day shift because you didn't want to deal with more politics. And I struggled with that big time, but I eventually did, and it helped my career. I said that. So at some point, I got to bite the bullet once I find, like I almost found that a decent size, a decent place that's below my means. I got to be willing to deal with some aggravation because the perks are going to outweigh the responsibilities. So those are my reflections, at this season of my life. And again, hopefully they help you. My man Tony, all I could tell you, brothers, yeah, I'm living like a king. I'm paying like a king too, man. But I'm grateful that I have the means. I'm grateful. So because like I say, guys, being at all night gas stations, being at truck stops, being among the poorest of us in this country. That's bottom line. I don't have to give you guys hot air. I've been basically sleeping amongst the poorest in society. And now, look, I'm sitting in probably one of the nicer hotels in society. So I've been able to see a lot of different things in life, guys. And, for me, I don't, again, look down on anyone. I don't look up to anyone. I kind of I understand like everyone's different, right? So, uh, but, I say it's interesting, it's interesting, and I got to be cautious that, again, I don't take too much risk. It's just like investments, right? Like which I learned where I failed in many investments. I took too much risk and I didn't put enough stability aside. So that leads to a disaster. You have to, have a level of stability and then take calculated risk. And right now, the nomad life, I feel for me at this season is too much risk, not enough reward. And so now I'm saying if I don't do something without rushing, I'm going to get caught in the system. If something goes bad, I'm taking risk, and a risk, you can get reward, but you can also get failure. And if something goes down, okay, if everything doesn't stay the same and nothing stays the same, look, I always been, and I always will do what I can as far as working, being a hustler, etc. Everything upright, legal, etc. But as you get older, your hustle, your energy, you don't want to be running this treadmill forever. And if you are running the treadmill, you want to have worked your way up where you have more control, more leverage in the workforce. And as I transition now, I'm getting into my, mid 40s. Well, I'll be 41. And as I look forward, my 40s, my 50s, I look at this, I'm on the other side of the curve, right? At 40, you're at the peak of life because the average life expectancy is about 80. So at 40, you're at the peak. So now I'm starting to go over this hill. And as I go over the hill, I think about what do I want the rest of my life to be? This is the midlife crisis. And now I'm not in a crisis, but I've been through crises. And when you're in a crisis and you get caught in the system, life could be not fun at all. And you shouldn't live in fear, but you should give this some thought. Okay, you got to give it some thought. Back live comments. Frank and Katz, the night off. Good for you. You work hard. You earned it. Great for you. ESP, how are you feeling? Any side effects? Yeah, like I said, just a little fatigue today, but in a weird thing, which I'm very grateful for, the second shot has actually so far been easier for me to take than the first. The first shot, again, out 5 days or so, I felt under the weather. So I'm very grateful for that, and I hope all of you have a similar experience, those who choose to take the vaccine. So thank you, ESP, for asking. Hal, what's up, brother? I've been thinking about you a lot today, man. Thinking about you and everyone who works in the hotel industry, man. Love to you. Kathy, shout to Chicago. Hey, Sam, good evening. Good evening to you, Kathy. Yeah, I spoke to some people up north, and it's still cold, man. Like I say, guys, in the north, it doesn't get warm until June. And June, July, and August, everywhere up north where there's a lake, or ocean, it's packed because people have been hibernating for 8 months. So they want to live. And that's why I do not want to go up north for the summer. I'm keeping all my options open, but I learned last year that this is not where I want to be. The Starbucks line is around the corner. Everything's packed. There's too much energy, too much anxiety. So my goal is to try to make it through the summer, whether I nomad, rent, or do long-term stays at hotels until I can either find something or, like I said, when September comes, I'm going to go up north to visit my mom. And then, that'll buy me some more time. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm just buying time and kind of circling like a hawk until I find the right deal and swoop down. And I'm trying to do that before I get caught in the system because I don't want that. Back to live comments. ESP. Oh, you just said you were tired. That's all right. I appreciate your questions. I appreciate, guys, all the members who leave comments. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who watches. And thank you for being patient until I get to the comments. I have a lot to be grateful for, and the support on YouTube is one, and I don't take it for granted. Thank you again, keeping up a breathe. Thank you, everyone. I don't take because I know you guys. Look, I listen to you guys. I read the comments. You guys know that, okay? And you know I've done that for 4 years. You know I show up every night as long as I can, God willing, vaccine, no vaccine. And I like where I was just talking about Howells' story. I know Gail's story. I know everyone's story in here for the most part. I know that some of you guys and girls, you got your own problems, okay? And some of them are bigger than mine. I know that. I don't bullshit you guys, okay? So I reckon that's why I always try to communicate that I'm grateful because I work for it. I've always worked for it. Never been lazy. But I also realize you work for it, but you also it's the grace of God. You can be born in any circumstance. So I think about like I said, guys. I don't have to talk it. I've lived it. I've lived among the poorest in this country. Okay, every night, more than even the poor. Some people they never really slept in all night gas stations or truck stops or parking lots for long periods of time. They never did that. Okay, so that's why too. I don't need some sermon about someone's hard luck story. Look, even though I got the resources, I've lived a life that most people would never live. Okay, so what I've learned is that one is if you don't work, your dreams don't work. Period. Now, if you don't have the physical ability or mental ability, then I understand, get the assistance. But you got to do what you got to do. And then two is when you're doing what you got to do, you got to be careful not to take too much risk and not to get caught in the system because you work so hard, you then don't want to get caught out there with your pants down. And that's what I'm a little bit concerned about now because I said, look, the nomad life made sense 4 years ago. Get out of New Jersey, get this transition going, figure out your next step in life. Now it don't make as much sense. Okay, now it's like I'm at the crap table, I'm up, and I'm at the Atlantic City Caesar's Palace, which was popping back in the day. Now it's disaster. And my man is telling me, like, Sam, we're up, let's get off the table, let's get out of here. And I'm telling him, nah, I'm going to press the hard eight, I'm going to press the hard eight. And I'm up a couple grand, and the next thing you know it, I'm down a couple grand. And we're hitting the New Jersey State Parkway North, okay, from Atlantic City, and we're trying to figure out where it went wrong. And where it went wrong was we stayed on the crap table too long because we were up, okay? And now we're trying to figure out how do we get back up. Remember the gambler's motto, we just got to get back to even. But remember the wise man's motto, if you never gamble, you're already at even, you're ahead of the gambler. So what I want to tell you tonight, guys, don't get caught in the system. Let's take a hydration break. This is good value. Oh, yes, real life too. Click that thumbs up. 89 people watching. Thank you to everyone out there. Love to you. ESP. Oh, you just said you were tired. It was the same for me, and you got the Pfizer shot. Felt tired. Okay, thank you for sharing, ESP. I appreciate all your insight. Now, remember your video. Jersey Life Lynn's video. You guys made videos about getting the vaccine before I got it. And I thought about that. And look, I made my own decision as an adult. And I see the pros and the cons of the vaccine. But I made my own decision. Overall, to today, I'm happy I got it. I understand there's negatives. There's nothing perfect. But, I'm glad that people at least shared their experience. I'm sharing my experience. Now, there's some people with a weakened immune system, they don't recommend they get it. So I'm not going to say everyone should get it. I'm saying everyone has an individual thing. You got to evaluate that, and it's not a perfect answer. But I appreciate you sharing in your video about your experience. How? Dealing with water bugs, pissed off. Oh, you got water bugs in your new apartment? What happened there, brother? I'll tell you right now, in Florida, it's bug season. And living in my car in Florida 2 years ago in the summer, I got a roach infestation. So again, like I don't have to, like you worried about like living in a bad rental where you got problems in your rental. Guys, I lived in a car with no AC with bug infestation. I had to get what they call it, raid traps and all. It was a disaster. And I was staying at parks, campgrounds. It was a disaster. In one sense, you're better off not even staying at campgrounds because there's more bugs. But even when I stayed at truck stops and rest areas, in Florida in the summer, guys, there's bugs. There's nothing you're gonna do about it. And they fly. These cockroaches, they fly. They fly right in your shit. Okay. You got your window cracked, they fly right through that motherfucker. That's just the way it is. Okay. So now look, they ain't flying in this hotel room because these windows don't even open. So I do miss that fresh air circulation, but it's hot as hell right now. So I got the AC running. Okay. I got a gym. I got a pool. I got laundry. I got free ice machine, guys. I'm getting every fucking cent of this, excuse my language, of this $170 a night room. Okay, and if I stay again, we're going to have to do an extended stay. Wendy. Hey, Wendy. Hey, Sam. At the gym, how was your day? Good. It was a tiring day as far as like how I felt. So really for me, it was just getting my work done and then resting. I didn't get to the gym today, but I was there yesterday. Try to never go more than 3 days without being in the gym. So tomorrow, back to my regular routine, the gym, walking, etc. So good job self-caring, which is the gym. Stay active, keep your blood flowing, and congratulations. Thank you, ESP. I'm glad you're not experiencing the worst case scenario with side effects. I'm very grateful for that, ESP. I was very much concerned when I got my first shot. I thought about not getting the second shot because I was so under the weather for 5 days. But after about a week, I felt better. 2 weeks, I felt 100%. So like last week, I was like, well, am I going to get the second shot? So yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I recovered. Might as well have the fully vaccinated card, get it done. And then I know there's talks of the boosters and the variants, and I know there's nothing perfect. So, but look, guys, again, everyone has to make their own decision. You take life one day at a time. You do what you got to do, what you think is best, and you pray for God's grace. Keeping up a breathe. Thank you again, beautiful. I appreciate your love. I appreciate your support. Don't take you for granted. And thank you for that gracious tip. Thank you, ESP. Even with rentals, they want to know, how I'll experience this, where you work, and what your income is. I agree. They're all in your money bag. And so I said to myself, if I'm going to go through that process, I might as well get a mortgage. I might as well own the house. You could try to save up to pay cash, but, that's a lot of money out of your pocket. And then two is, I don't know. For me right now, look, I'm paying a premium to be in a hotel. It's not a sustainable thing for a long period of time. At least in a nicer hotel. But I may use this sporadically to get through the summer until either I could find a home base or, figure out my next step. Like I said, I've been on the fence. I said, well, get the Class B. You get the Class B, you can stay at, you get like 1,000 Trails membership. You can stay at campgrounds for 2 weeks, come to a hotel for 1 week. But that's a lot of money, man. And like I said, Class B still, still, $70,000. I can get a travel trailer, but then when I'm not at a campground, where do I put that travel trailer? Once you get an RV, you have to have a place to put that RV. And I used to think that the RV life would get you out of the system, but the RV life gets you caught in the system because once you get an RV, your places that you can park are limited. And you can't park them. One is in most condominium communities, you can't park them. And if you park them in like a regular parking lot, all eyes are on you because you can see it's an RV, even a Class B. And so now you've limited where you can park, what you can do. And you spent money, and now you're committed to a way of life that isn't home ownership. And it's fine for a season, but you can really get screwed in the RV life. And so, like I say, if I buy an RV, what I'm doing is I'm keeping the same lifestyle, but I'm adding some comfort. And like I say, I don't know if I want to do that, mainly because I'm not really into exploring. I want to keep some flexibility because I think flexibility is an asset, but I don't want to stay on the road full time. So, the condo or a mobile home or RV lot looks like the best option. But with low inventory, I don't have my pickings. And I had it. Look, do I regret not getting the condo? A little bit. But I wasn't in the place that I'm in now. And like I say, this time in the hotel and reflecting on where I'm at has really put things in a great perspective. Um, you know, so I got to just pray and do the work that, the right opportunity comes and I'm willing to deal with the work that's going to entail, and that's the best I can do. Back to live comments. How? That is the only issue so far with the place. Ground floor, plus there was no one in here for 2 years. Okay. The super snake the shower. Oh, God. So I hope that works. Exterminator came yesterday. Unbelievable. Thank you for sharing. Well, one is when you live on the ground floor, you're going to deal with more bugs because you're at the ground floor on average. Two is when someone doesn't live in a place, it's like having a class B and not starting it for months. Even an apartment or a house, they're meant to be lived in. The toilet bowl is meant to be flushed. If you don't flush the toilet bowl, the seal, there's a rubber gasket seal underneath the floor of the toilet bowl will go bad. If you don't use the pipes, they can rot. Same thing again with a car. If you don't use your car and if the hoses aren't lubricated and the fluids aren't running through the system, the car will decay faster. And the same thing with your body. If you sleep all day and if you don't stay active, your body will decay faster. Even today, I hate staying in. I hate not being active. But today, with the second shot, I was tired. I wanted to use wisdom. So, I was still active, but not my normal way. And I'm glad I rested, but I feel more, in one sense, more achy, not moving. So, but I know through experience, sometimes you got to, rest it out. But I'm telling you right now, even if you're a senior, you have to stay active as possible. Because when your blood is flowing through your body, you're living. When you're flushing the toilet bowl, you're keeping the seal primed. When you're starting your car, the fluids are going through the system. When you don't use something, you lose it. Okay? So use it or lose it. Good job. How? No chicks in the crib till I fix this problem. Well, brother, if you don't want to get caught in the system, don't get into a relationship. Because I'll tell you this right now, guys. Once you get into a relationship, guys, you're in the system like a blender, man. You're a banana in a blender, man. You might as well take your banana and put it in a blender. I know I talked to a guy today, great guy. I love this guy. And he was telling me, about relationships in life. And all I can tell you, man, especially once you have a kid, you're caught in the system. You ain't getting out. Uh, and so, look, again, we live in a modern society where you don't have to have children to survive. In third world countries, you have to have a children to survive. 100 years ago, people had children to tend the farm for survival. And so, what I always tell you, younger people, and I know birth rates have been going down in America. In one sense, I know people are worried that we're not going to grow. That's why you need immigration. Two is, it's like, guys, look, an educated society realizes the responsibility of raising children. Okay. And if you're an honest person, you realize the pros and the cons of life in this world. So you don't want to just recklessly bring a child into this world, okay? Because you realize even when you're doing good, the world can be hard. Okay. There's blessings in the world, but there's hardships. So, you can never give someone a perfect life, but you at least want to give your child a fighting chance. And again, when you're young, you're just horny. And I've been in there, guys. You think I didn't pillow talk in my 20s? Like, oh, what you think if we have a kid? Like, I would pillow talk a little bit, but then I'm like, nah. I remember I was in the bed with some chick, and I don't know. We were just messing around, and she's like, well, what if we had a kid? I said, well, that'd be some shit. She ain't like that. Okay, so, I had love for her. Good people, but you guys know, man, that's not who I am. Oh shit, K, $5. Oh, $5 super chat. Real intense mood. Decided to quit video games at 23. Was hard, and I teared up. In a moment of passion, I threw my PS5 in a river. Must move forward. Well, hold on too, because I know I missed some other super chats. Hal, $5 super chat. No infestation. Just seen a few here. Getting better. Least of my worries. Marketplace on me. Okay, we're going to talk about that too. And I have a new member, Marty Taz. Mary Taz. Mary Taz, welcome. Now, let me address all the super chats and the new member. So, one is K. I played video games when I'm young, okay, and I'm glad I did. Why? Because video games are your first interaction with technology. They're an interface. So it's good that you play video games because it gives you an insight on how to interface with technology. Whether you work at Home Depot, whether you work in a hospital, whether you work in a hotel, everything interfaces with technology. When you check into a hotel, the clerk is entering your data in a computer. When you buy something at Home Depot, the person is using a computer to get the inventory. When you work at a hospital, they're putting your data in the database. So a video game is nothing but you putting in data by pressing down the key joystick and trying to work with the system, okay, to get a result of winning, whatever the game is. The negative part about video games, okay, is that they're not a job. Now, I know some people make money on Twitch and stuff, but it's just like YouTube. It may be a side hustle. It's not a main job. Okay. And the other thing is it kills time. Time is your most valuable resource. Now, the third thing is that it's good that you got intense to get out of that algorithm of wasting time and doing things that maybe aren't yielding an income, but you have to be cautious to be kind to yourself, to not be too harsh and not be too radical. Because what I can tell you is I empathize with your pain. I'm encouraged by your willingness and wanting to change. But I also want to tell you that get intense, but also be kind to yourself. And also remember that the race is won through steady action. And yes, once in a while you do have to be intense. So I want to respect both, and hopefully that helped you a little bit. Thank you again for the tip, Hal, brother. He says the no infestation here though, and getting better, at least of my worries. Yeah, I'm just glad that you're in a place, you're moving forward. And again, if you have the ability, and I know you have the ability, Hal, I think adults need to at least try to live on their own. Now, where you get caught in the system is it's not cheap to live on your own. And many people stay in an unhealthy relationship to be able to afford a place to live. And I totally empathize with that because I'm seeing why that happens. Uh, and so understand. And Mary Taz, thank you again for joining. Thank you. Gratitude. Gratitude. All right, let's go back to the live comments now. And forgive me, guys, for being a little bit late on some of this stuff. I apologize. Thank you, D. Great to see you. Thank you, Andre. All right, let me get back to live comments in order here. Um, uh, Adam, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Shout out to Michigan. Adam lives in Michigan. He says, "Good evening, Sam. I'm out working, still pulling in almost $2,300 in sales today. That's awesome. So, what's the average sales commission? Well, it all depends. It could be anywhere from 3% to 30%. Probably somewhere in between. A real estate agent usually gets paid 3%. Now, if they're the listing agent and they represent the buying agent, they'll get paid 6%, but that's negotiable. Uh, you know, when you're selling, food, or whether you're selling the software, you could be more in the 15 to 25 range percent of the sale. So everything is based on, okay, what you're selling and what you have worked out with the companies, that you're moving product for. So sales is a tough job. Sales is a cosmetic job. Like I say, if you ever been with a realtor, there's a whole section on free porn about realtors because guys, it's very much a seduction. Okay, and I've met some beautiful women that are great realtors. And again, I seeked out a woman not because of her beauty, but because I actually feel more comfortable selling my house with a woman. I looked for a woman and buying my house with a woman. I do. The guys tend to be arrogant. I hate to say that. Now, you can say the woman is playing a part, but hey, I don't care. That's how I feel. So I really have not had a good experience with salesmen. Saleswomen, I feel more comfortable with. So, because I think a woman is just at least for me, in my perspective, they're more approachable. And I feel more safe. Now, again, do I want to date a woman? Do I want to marry her? Do I want to have kids? No, because I don't really feel safe with anyone. That's true. I mean, everyone's a human. Okay, so, you know, but all right, let's go back to live comments. Uh, Keeping up a break. Everything's good. Excellent. Just staying positive. Love it. And working and saving. Excellent. Excellent. Hopefully, by the end of this year, I could work towards getting my first car. That'd be awesome. Just wanted to ask if the Jeeps are reliable. Great question. Yeah, I've had two Jeeps in my lifetime. The first Jeep I had was a Jeep Compass. I bought it for around $20,000, and I had it for about 5 years. And at that time, I think I only had about 50,000 miles on it because I wasn't a nomad. I was living in a condo in New Jersey. And overall, I had no problems with it. It was fun to drive. It was reliable. My Jeep Renegade I got 5 years ago. I have almost 200,000 miles on it. I've had a couple of small problems, but overall, I've had no big problems, and it's been reliable, and I've been very fortunate. So, overall, in my experience in owning two Jeeps over the course of 10 years with high mileage, they have both been a reliable, good car. Now, like anything, there's good and bad experiences, and you can get a lemon. But my experience has been overall positive, and overall, yes, I would recommend a Jeep. The only negative with some Jeeps is the seats are uncomfortable. Now, the Jeep Cherokee, they tend to be a little bit more comfortable, but the Wrangler and the Renegade, could be a little bit uncomfortable, and they're a little small, depending on which one you get. Now, and if you get the bigger ones, the Wranglers they're more expensive. They're very expensive, and they are a little bit more gas guzzlers. Now, the Jeep is coming out with hybrid cars and electric cars like every other manufacturer. They have the Jeep Wrangler 4xe out now, and I actually saw one. But it's still not cost effective. And you say to yourself, well, how do people afford life? How do they don't? They get caught in the system. The average car payment is $575 a month. The average rent is $1,200 a month. The average person, after paying their car payment, after paying their rent, and after paying for food, everyone forgets about food. Guys, that's at least $3,000 a month. And $3,000 a month take home is about the average salary. So that doesn't even include kids. That doesn't include, any emergencies. And so you say to yourself, how do people get ahead? I say to myself, damn. I mean, again, I've been fortunate in life, man. One is I had some help from my parents when I was young. I always was willing to work. I had some family members that weren't, and they pay the price for it. And I didn't have kids. If not for that, guys, I would be just in the system like everyone else. And obviously, look, the Lord has blessed me with a level of intelligence and health. Now, I have put in the work to better myself. I went to school for 5 nights. I went to school for 5 nights after high school and worked during the day. Then I studied for another 3 years to get my electrical license. And then I started in a whole new industry in IT, and I totally transformed my career. So, I put in the work, but like I say, I've also learned that, it's not easy. But how do you handle it? Well, again, you take it one step at a time. And when in doubt, just do something. And when in doubt, don't buy. Because then you're doing something, you're making some money, you're not buying, you're not consuming. So hopefully you're saving. And here's the other thing, Don't gamble too much. Don't risk too much. That's what, if you say inspirational nomad, where did you lose your most money? Was it staying at a $170 a night hotel? Nope. It was trading stocks. Okay. So, and again, single stocks, not the index fund, things like that. And again, I could say the same thing about business ownership. Most businesses fail. I could say the same thing about Atlantic City or gambling or scratch offs. I'm not saying you can't do those things, but I'm saying you need to do them in a calculated, mitigated risk way because you can be working hard, you could be saving, but you could still lose everything, okay, through trying to double your money. How do you double your money? You fold it and you put it in your pocket, okay? Now, again, I know everyone does digital now, including me. So, how do you double your money? If you have a brokerage account, it only has 30% of your liquid assets. The other 70% of your liquid assets are in a savings account that don't get touched. Okay. Because what I can tell you is this, if you leverage that brokerage account, if you put margin on it, you're going to have 3, 4 times buying power, and then you can lose everything. So be very cautious, okay, and take your time. Let's take hydration break. Um, Timothy, welcome again. Timothy, one of my newer members. Thank you, Timothy, for being a member. Thank you to all my members. Good evening, bro. Good evening to you, man. How are you doing? Keep it up a break. Always keep moving. There you go. Stay motivated. Yep, like Kellen Rowland said, let me be your motivation. I remember when I lost everything at one point, okay? Now I regained what I lost, thumbs up. And it keeps me motivated to work harder to sustain and stabilize my life. 100 emoji. What I could tell you is this, as I was reflecting in this hotel, I said, man, because I've been like you, where I haven't lost everything, but I've hit downturns in life. And I realize when you're down, you got to go begging other people for help or no one wants to give you help. And I said to myself, if I lose my job, I could pretty much throw home ownership out the window and even renting because renting was. But again, if I lose my job, look, I'm going to be applying for another job tomorrow. I'm going to be doing DoorDash. But all this assumes that you're healthy, you're able. And as you get older, you know that, you're getting older. I'm still middle aged. I'm not old. But I'm just saying, you got to think about these things, okay? Good job. Timothy, what I like about your points when you talk, you always preach to know where your exit is. Yes, good job. You're listening, Timothy. Thank you. And many people create tough situations not knowing theirs. Well, Timothy, you're definitely listening. Thank you for that. And what I'm trying to focus on too is taking my own advice. Is that, because again, I'm always thinking of my exit strategies. Again, if you're ever trained in like whatever, if you're trained in something, you're always taught how do you get out of a situation? How do you physically get out of a room? How do you logistically get out of a tough situation in business? And if you don't know your exit points, you're trapped. You're caught in the system, period. Whether you're caught, you're caught. Okay. So I'm not saying you should always look for the exit, but you should always know where they are. When you board an airplane, the first thing they do when they tell you the exits are here. Okay. Why? Because in case it goes to a disaster, you have to know how to get out. Okay. So what I want to tell you, this is good value, guys. God bless you. This is good stuff. I'm not gonna lie about that. Thank you, Louis. Broadcasting, guys. I do these live feeds all night from a hotel. This is very stable. Again, I won't go back live comments. What I've learned these past night, I only spent one night so far in this hotel, is that, guys, the quality of life is better. I'm not looking over my shoulder, man. I'm doing it from a gas station and stuff. I don't even know. Like, I'm thinking to myself today, like, damn, am I going back to that in 6 days? I don't know. Like I said, I may do a long-term stay here. I may, rent a place. I'm still looking at buying if the right deal comes up. But again, my nomad days are limited. But I got to be careful that I don't get caught out there before I make a move. Because then I got limited options. So you got to keep moving. My man Tony, you might think about renting a small studio or an Airbnb for a while until you decide your next step. That way you don't make a rash decision you can't get out of. Now, it's an excellent point, Tony, and I've definitely been looking. But like I say, so far, my limited experience with rentals is I probably called about 10. 2 of them called me back. 1 of them was already taken. And the upfront money for a rental is going to be at least 3, 4 grand. And that's at least 1 month stay in a hotel. So really what I'm trying to do now is I'm just trying to get through the summer, 3 months. I would say by September, either more inventory has come on the market, especially in Florida, because we're approaching the off season where more inventory comes up. I find something, I buy it, or nothing comes on the market. I'm not committed to a landlord. I'm not committed, like even this hotel, I could cancel the rest of my days right now and get out of here. See, once I do a rental, I'm locked in for that lease agreement. Okay. In a hotel, I'm paying more, but I got more flexibility. So right now, what's my if I knew I was going to be at least in this area for a year, one thing. But I know like I like the areas I'm in, but I know in 3 months, no matter what, I'm going to go see my mom. Because as long as my mom's alive, I at least want to go see her for a couple weeks every year. I mean, I got to make the most of life, right? So in 3 months, I know I'll be gone for a few weeks. Okay, so I don't need to be locked into something. So my goal is get to the end of August. I may pay a little bit more doing it the way I may do it, but like I said, that's the reason. But you're making a good point, Fred. My man Fred, what's up? Shout out to Brooklyn. He goes, you look right at home, saying, man, I'm trying to tell you right now. In one sense, I like the hotel better than the rental because I got an ice machine, I got laundry, I got 2 pools, I got a gym. Guys, I got free breakfast every morning. Now I'm paying for it, but I'm trying to tell you this, guys. Don't be mad if you find me. I got with a maid. I'm living the maid in Manhattan life. Shout out to Jennifer Lopez. Okay. Mm-hmm. Living a vida loca. Thank you, brother. He goes, I can get used to seeing you indoors and promoting minimalism in your next venture. Thank you, brother. Fred, you've been a great support. Look, I definitely see it now. I have the vision of the transition. Okay. It was tough for me to see, especially, to case point when I was in intense mode because I had to put blinders on. Okay. And when you put blinders on, you have to stay focused. My newest member, Marty Taz, also gave me a gracious super sticker, like a little tiger cat. Hey, I appreciate that, Mary Taz. Very gracious to join. Again, welcome. Very gracious to give me the tip. Thank you. All I can tell you is thank you so much. And my man Infinity, 199 super chat. Love to you, Sam. Well, love, reciprocal love and appreciation back to you. Um, like I say, guys and girls, I do not take you for granted. Everyone who watches, the gracious people that tip, I'm not entitled to it, but I'm very grateful for it. And I do try to share something that I feel has some value. And even if it doesn't have value to you, it's therapy for me to focus my thoughts and to use my gift. And so, to my man's Fred's point, and thank you again, Mary. Thank you again, Infinity. Thank you for everyone. To my man Fred's point, I definitely can see now my next step. I see how I will transition. Just like I saw how eventually I would transition out of construction into corporate. Just like I saw how I would transition out of the strip club into the church. Then how I saw how I would transition out of the church, into a philosopher or whatever. You always, but until you can see it, you have to keep moving. And for the past 4 years, I've just been moving with a focus. And now that I'm not moving as much, the vision is clearer for the next step. Okay, so uh, you know, like I say, I'm just grateful and thank you again, everyone. Very, very kind to all you. Let's go back to live comments in order. Thank you again, Kay. Thank you, Howell. Thank you, keeping up with Bree. Very, very gracious. Thank you to all my members. My man Keith, what's up, brother? How are you, Keith? You look right at home, Sam. You guys are nailing it. Oh, I was reading Fred's again. Keith says, got in late. I apologize. Nothing to apologize for. Been in uh, a funk last couple days. Well, I understand that. A little down. It's understandable. But appreciate the videos. They really helped me. Well, Keith, I totally empathize. You guys know because I make a video every day and I do a live feed every day that I cry with you. I get angry. I get happy. And I share with you every part of the human experience. I don't just put like this fake facade up. Okay. So sometimes it's entertainment, but guys, for the most part, it's real life. So I make videos to Keith's point when I'm in a down place. Okay, so I wish none of us ever got down because, but it's part of life. And all I can tell you is focus on self care. Still wake up on time. Still go to the gym. Still eat healthy. Because when I got into a real funk was when I said, all right, well, I'm gonna just sleep all day. I'm not gonna eat healthy. I'm not gonna exercise. And then life gets worse, not better. Now, again, if you're going through a sickness, you're getting a second shot. Today, I rested a lot, did what I had to do for work, and I rested. But tomorrow, there's a day to rest, and then there's a day to be active. Got to keep moving. Okay, good job. Keep it up and breathe. The best control I have with my life is working my part time job and picking up hours as I please. Of course, I work full time hours, but I choose easy assignments and pick days depending on my mood. Well, look, yeah, when you have some certification, I believe you're in the healthcare industry. Shout out to you and Jersey Lynn. I see Jersey Lynn in here. When you're in the healthcare industry, medical field, nurse, whatever, you have certifications. And the more certifications you have, the more experience you have, the more options. Remember, a driver's license is a certification. So when you have a driver's license, you have the option to DoorDash, Uber, to get a CDL license, to get a truck driver's gig. So the more certifications, the more work experience, the more options. And don't be scared to accept a promotion because it'll be hard in the beginning. But after you accept a promotion, you go up a level, you're going to call more of the shots, you're going to get more privileges. And so I'm also associating that with home ownership or life. They all have their give and takes. My girl Jersey Lynn, who's living the dream, who makes great videos, very well balanced. And I hate to tell you guys, she made a video the other day about going to Victoria's Secret. Now she's married, so don't you guys go hitting on Jersey Girl Lynn. She goes, "Good evening, Sam. Good evening. Nice painting behind you." Well, thank you, Jersey Lynn. You know I respect, I appreciate you. I think very highly of you. Everything that you have done with your life. Jersey Life Lynn migrated here from the Philippines. She raised a daughter. She has a successful career in caretaking, and she's very intelligent, very strong. It comes across very clear in her YouTube channel. She's also a YouTuber. She's a monetized YouTuber with over 4,000 subscribers. So Jersey Life Lynn is not a dumb girl. She's very smart, okay? Now, very beautiful too, okay? But she's married, so you guys don't hit. So all I can tell you guys, again, thank God we live in a first world country where women, men, everyone can live a great life. I mean, there's still bad parts, but uh, oh my God, one of my first and longest members, Sabrina from New Orleans, and she's about it. Shout out to NO. Good to see you outside your Jeep. Sabrina, love to you. And I know you got your own issues, but you've always been kind. I mean, that's your gift. I mean, I say some people, they're more compassionate than me. And I say, I can't believe this. Everyone's not bad. I mean, I know, look, everyone. I was talking to a friend today. Thank you, Sabrina. I was talking to a friend today. And they said during the coronavirus, what they realized is as much as they love their significant other, they need their space. And even great people, kind people, they need space. Okay. One place I went wrong in life was I put too much expectation on someone always having to be kind. But what I've come to realize as I become mature is that even me, if I don't have my own space, I could become unkind. Everyone has to have their own space. And even me making a calculated decision not to go to New Jersey for most of the summer is based on I know that if I go to New Jersey in the height of the summer and there's all those people on the shore and I'm visiting my mom and I'm not happy I'm there, I'm not going to be as good a son as I could be. And my mom's not going to be happy. I'm not gonna, I experienced that last year. I experienced that with COVID too. And so I talk to my mom every day. Thank God for WhatsApp. Thank God for video conferencing. Yeah, Hal, I quoted Kelly Rowland. Motivation. I believe was Nelly in that video. No, that was the other one. Yeah, not Nelly wasn't in that one. That was I wanna love you. Uh, remember the song with Nelly and Kelly Rowland and Larry Hughes, the basketball player from the Philadelphia 76ers, was in it. That was a good one. But nah, Kelly Rowland, she had a single called Motivate You. But Nelly, I love you. That was a good video, Nellyville. And yeah, that was a good video. But when you're down, listen to music. Music heals the soul. Okay, now whether you like rock, country, R&B, don't matter. jazz. I listen to a lot of instrumental jazz now too as I get older. So, oh, and Jay-Z and Nas got a great new song. It's called Sorry Not Sorry. I like that song. It's on DJ Khaled's new album, I think. So I don't know what we were talking about, guys. All I could tell you is, Sabrina, thank you. Thank you to everyone who gave a gracious tip. Thank you to all my members. Shout out to Mary Taz, my newest member. Timothy, everyone, love to you. Let's take a hydration break. Go back to live comments. 88 people watching, 56 thumbs up. Thank you. Back live comments. Thank you again, Jersey Lifeline. D, one of the very positive members. Thank you, D, for all your comments. I read your comments today. Thank you. Hal moved into a little beach house. Did he? Oh, no, you're talking about you. Yeah, D left a good comment today on my channel talking about her experience. And I read it, D. It was a great comment about moving like by the beach. And I believe it was an apartment or a condo. And, just the pros and cons. It was a very detailed comment, very good. It was a lot of insight. And I listened to it and I'm still digesting it because I always like to hear someone's experience because there's theory and there's experience. Okay. Like I said, there's one thing to say, I want to be a nomad. There's another thing to be in an all night gas station for 4 years straight. Okay. And so there's one thing to think about something and to do something. So thank you, D, for your comment. I'm going to probably read that again because there was a lot of good information in that comment. Hal, thank you again for that tip. Yeah, thank God that you don't have the infestation. And thank God that you have a place of your own. And biggest is you're moving forward. So proud of you for not giving up. So proud of you for staying positive. I don't even know how you stay positive because I'll tell you right now, you really showed me that you have what it takes to move forward. Unbelievable. My man, Tony. He goes, you can mitigate the added expenses of rent or condo expenses by cutting out restaurant food and coffee. Cooking at home should save about $500 a month. Well, that's an excellent point. I did buy food at Publix and I did cook it in the microwave, basically all healthy food, salads and some salmon, and a little bit of rice and Goya beans. I cooked it all in the hotel room. Now, the only thing I refuse to cut out is Starbucks. Why? Because I had the free breakfast coffee that they served here in the hotel, and it tastes like mud water. And when I owned an apartment, when I owned a condo, I bought a coffee machine. I had the K-Reg, I had the regular. I bought the Starbucks coffee. I bought everything you could buy. You can never make the coffee the same. And Starbucks has a proprietary soy milk, meaning they don't sell that soy milk in any other place. You got to go to Starbucks. Now, I don't get the sugary drinks. I get I probably get 2 coffees a day. Okay. I get the Venti Pike, no soy, no sugar. And I get a bagel once in a while and egg whites. And what I can tell you is, guys, I don't know what I got to do, but as long as I'm not destitute, I'm getting Starbucks. Okay. And I'll figure out a way to Donald Trump write that off, whether it's this hotel room or whatever, we're going to figure out a write off. I'm going to shout out to my accountant in New Jersey. Okay. We're going to do another virtual conference every year. And we're going to figure out how to line itemize all this stuff, man. I'm keeping records of everything. D, $5 super chat. Here's to stopping to smell those roses. Excellent comment. You and ESP actually mentioned that, is that don't think about what's going to happen after 6 days. Now, I'm giving it thought, but I'm also enjoying each day because, you got to enjoy each day too. So today I smelt the roses, I smelt the ice machine, the 2 pools in this place, the free breakfast. They was cooking bacon and all types of stuff down. It was smelling beautiful in that lobby. But I didn't eat any of that stuff. I had Cheerios with a banana, and I had their coffee. I said, I can't drink this coffee. I went right to Starbucks. Starbucks close. And what I could tell you is this, guys. I'm not going to tell you to buy stock in anybody. I'm telling you, I'm buying Starbucks, guys. As long as I'm not destitute, I'm buying Starbucks. Thank you, Dave. Very nice of you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you again, Sabrina. I'll go back to live comments in order. Good comment, Tony. You're right, though. The number one way to save money is not eating out. You're 100% right. Mary Taz, all I can tell you again is gratitude. Thank you for joining the memberships. I very much appreciate that. Kay, thank you again for sharing that very intimate story about you wanting to change your life and about you taking steps. Like I tell you, I want you to also use compassion on yourself without bullshitting yourself. You can do both. Now I still talk to myself bad sometimes. I still curse God sometimes. So I don't want to be a hypocrite and tell you, love, be nice to yourself. Well, guys, sometimes I talk very bad to myself. I don't want to lie to you. Um, all I can tell you is I try to stay positive. Okay, like I always tell you guys, it's a disaster, but stay positive. But I don't want to become like the preaching on this high thing, guys. I very rarely talk bad to anyone else unless there's a real issue. But I'll talk bad to myself, while I'm by myself. I get out of it. I don't stay there, but I can get upset, and so I understand. I do. Let's go back to live comments. Um, Hal, D, not that bad. Just two in the bathroom. Oof. Hopefully, the more I shower, yep, I agree with this. The more I shower and use the apartment, it should get better. I totally agree. A body emotion stays emotion. The more you use something, actually, the better it gets. I appreciate your concern. D's positive people. Thank you. D. Little Sammy would be so cute. Well, I appreciate that. I had a lot of girls tell me, like, you'd be a great father. Of course, we make a cute baby, and I understand that. But I know, look, and I probably would be decent. I'm sure I'd have my pros and my cons because I'm human. But I know myself, and you guys know me too. For those who watch, you guys know I don't like long-term commitment. And I'm good with kids, but I also need a lot of time by myself. The reason I'm so good is because I spend a lot of time by myself. I remember I was dating a couple girls, and when I didn't have a lot of alone time, I wasn't in a good place. I got to have a lot of alone time. I didn't know that when I was young. And again, I got my faults, but it's just the way I am. But again, you don't know, your brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25. And you don't know who you are until 35. The problem is, by the time most people turn 35, they have at least one, if not two kids. They're caught in a situation, they're caught in a system, and for them to unravel that is almost impossible. Okay. So what happens is they have a midlife crisis, and then by the 50s, they're probably divorced. And they say, I got till 50s into my early 60s until I could still do stuff. And then, that's what they try to do. Believe me, I dated some MILFs in their late 40s, early 50s. And that's the mindset. The mindset was, look, I spent my life raising my kid. I got married once. And now I want to do me. Okay. Whether he's shopping at Victoria's Secret, I understand it because I dated, I understand life. And what I can tell you is, okay, everyone has their own journey. Okay. Good comment. Andre, welcome, Mary Tess. Thank you, Andre, man. You're always very positive and welcoming, man. Thank you, Andre, for being you. Paco, Cocoa Beach for the win. Well, love to you. I would say Cocoa Beach for the L. If Cocoa Beach is better than Belmar, okay, New Jersey. But if you want to go in Central Florida, go to Satellite Beach and Melbourne Beach. Go a little south of Cocoa Beach. Cocoa Beach, not that much going on. So I recommend go 15 minutes south to Satellite Beach and to Melbourne Beach, and then just keep going south. Uh, and then once you get to Boca Raton, don't go any further south because it's too congested below Boca Raton. So Cocoa Beach is okay, but a little suspect. But love to you, Pat. Thank you for your sense of humor. Thank you for all your emojis. Appreciation to you. Love your sense of humor. D, so true. Lancelot, the realtor, keeps flirting with me. Yeah. And I think he's married. Oh, yeah, okay. Sales. How do you know so much about people? It's amazing. Well, let me tell you something, guys. I spent time in the richest areas in the world and the poorest. Well, in the country. I won't say the world. I spent times amongst the richest, amongst the poorest, and everything in between. I've worked in a ditch. I've worked basically on Wall Street. I've broadcasted from a gas station and from an overpriced hotel room. I've owned a condo. I've traveled the East Coast. I've broadcasted live across the world. I have some viewers in Europe, Australia, Philippines, etc. And what I've learned is human nature, and human nature has basic principles no matter what race, no matter what culture, no matter what gender. There's little differences, but it's basic human nature. And if you can understand anything, if you can understand human nature, you're not always going to be right. You're not going to be God, but you're going to have a better understanding of what's going on. because most of the time what's going on is not a mathematical formula. It's based on human nature. And in one sense, understanding that is almost better than understanding great mathematical formulas. So, because again, like you say, well, I don't agree with that. Well, here's how I'll tell you. Everyone knows that 2,000 calories per day is the average intake a person should have, 2 to 3,000 calories. But most people eat more than that. Why? Because life is not a mathematical formula. It's based on human nature. Most people realize, okay, if they looked at their income and they looked at their expenses, that they're in trouble. But most people, like I did for many years, they don't look at that. They just look at, can they afford to make their payments for this month? So most people are not doing a mathematical formula. Most people are operating off emotion. Okay. And understanding that, you're still not going to figure it out. Like I thought, like I figured out emotion and human psyche. So I figured like I'll make this bet or I'll do this. And then even me, I got caught in emotion because there is no exact science to life. But what I could tell you is this: when it comes to sales, it's an emotional experience. When you go to a car lot, you get a free water. Why? Because they want you to feel welcomed, they want you to feel safe, and they don't want you to walk off that lot. Because statistics show them that if you walk off that lot, you're 70 to 80% likely not to buy the car. And what I can tell you is never make a purchase, whether it's a house or a car, for more than $5,000 without waiting 48 hours. And you say, well, I'll miss out on this opportunity. You will. But if you follow that over the course of your life, you will do better than worse. Because once you make a purchase over $5,000 and you don't wait 48 hours, you're going to get into a routine, and that routine is being caught in the system. Your entire life, you will have about a $600 car payment. Your entire life, your housing costs will be above $1,500 or so. Your entire life, you'll be living paycheck to paycheck. And what I can tell you is it is not easy to not live paycheck to paycheck. Even me, I thank God every day because I realize even though I work for it, I'm fortunate. Okay. And even though I've lived among the poorest, I've lived basically like a bum. Okay. And so that's why I don't take no shit from no one too. You know what I mean? So, but I also still realize that it's not easy. Okay. And I also realize that God has given me a level of talent, intelligence, and health that I can't take full credit for. I can take full credit for, working, and I should, but I should also take a step back in humility that, look, I could have been born with a disability. I could have been born in a third world country. And I could have been born in so many other circumstances that even though I have all these gifts, I could have never developed them. So, when you look at life like that, you're able to have a balanced evaluation of yourself. If you can't evaluate yourself balanced, how can you evaluate someone else? If you think too highly of yourself, how can you think of someone else? If you think too lowly of yourself, how can you have a healthy relationship? It's like you have to have a balanced evaluation of yourself. Not too high, not too low. No one's above you, no one's beneath you. It's just that everyone is different, and this is life. Okay, let's take a hydration break, go back to live comments. Where are we at? Mary Taz, having a rough day. I'm sorry to hear that. And looking for inspiration. Hopefully, my videos help you in some way, Mary Taz. I took a fall today, and got injured. Having to take a second look at my Nomad retirement next year and feeling sad. Well, Mary Taz, one is my heart goes out to you, and two is this is why I share these videos, amongst my other ones. That look, you have to mitigate risk. And as you get older, you're more vulnerable. Even me now at 40, I'll be 41 soon, is that my biggest risk right now is me getting hurt or severely sick on the road. And I don't have a home base. I don't have a rental. And staying at a hotel is costly. And if you have to scramble to get housing when you're sick, even if you have money, you're going to get screwed and you're going to feel vulnerable. So, in my experience of 4 years on the road as a full-time nomad, I would not recommend someone be a full-time nomad with no home base unless they have enough money to really have a cushion. And if they have a choice. If you don't have a choice, you don't have a choice. But if you don't have a choice, like some of my viewers, I recommend that you apply for subsidized housing. And even if you don't stay there, you have somewhere to go back to if you get sick or hurt. Okay? So what I can tell you is I've been very fortunate, okay, for 4 years on the road to not have a major issue. I've had some issues. And I am more aware of that risk now more than ever. Okay. And so, Mary Taz, the good thing is it's better for you to at least think about this before you get on the road than after. That's the good news. Like I said, when I got my first vaccine, I got very sick for 5 days and I regretted getting it. But the good news was it made me refocus on being a little bit more positive. Okay. And now I feel 100% better. I'm glad I got both shots. And I don't wish bad things on anyone. And I hate to say, like, yeah, every bad thing turns good, but try to make the good out of this, which is one, hopefully you're not severely injured where you can't recover. Two is, especially as you get to retirement years, which retirement is usually 55 and up and normally 62 and up. In the United States of America, the first time you can collect Social Security is at the age of 62. Now, the first time you can collect Medicare, which is health care through retirement, through the government, is 65 or 67. At the age of 55, you can start taking some pensions. At the age of 59 and a half, you can start withdrawing from your 401k without penalty, but you still have tax implications. So, somewhere between 55 to 65, the average person in America begins to retire. The average life expectancy in America is 80. So, pretty much you're saying when you retire, and for most people, let's just say it's 60, okay, because I don't think most people are still waiting probably 62, 65. Let's say you retire at 60. That leaves you with 20 years. And in my opinion, in my experience with people, once you hit age 75 and older, you need a lot more stability. So, what I would tell, and especially if you're overweight, or like my mom's overweight, she got diabetes, she's not 75 yet, and I would tell you this: once you hit 70 and up, you have to have a lot of risk mitigation. From 50 to 70, guys, and I know I have some viewers in their 70s. I don't want to be mean, but you guys know what life is. I mean, you have to share your experience, which is you can still do stuff, but you got to have a home base or you got to have somewhere to go back to. You got to mitigate your risk. Okay. Um, and that's why I think seniors, I think people who can't do for themselves, they should have all these programs. Even though I know they're not great programs, I wish we did more actually for seniors and for, but look, the nomad life is only good when you're healthy, just like every life. And actually, the nomad life is double as bad when you're not healthy. Because when you have a house, whether you buy or own, that is the value of a house or a condo or apartment, is that you have stability. So at least you can be sick in there and stand up and have restroom, have power. When you are sick or hurt in a car, van, or even an RV, and you're in an RV park or campground and you have to move, and guys, that's a disaster. And again, I'm telling you this from experience. Okay. So do people make it work? Guys, I've seen people make a lot of stuff work. You should see there's no car inspections here in Florida. I see some of these cars on the street. You can see a Bentley and then you can see a 1995 Honda Civic with no roof. You see everything down here. And what I can tell you is you can make a lot of things work, including a Civic with no roof, with no hood. But it doesn't mean it's the right way. Okay. And what I can tell you is as you get older, have some stability. When you're a nomad, have your exit strategy. All right, let's go back to live comments. Infinity, all I can tell you, brother, is you've been a long time viewer. I want you to continue to go after your best life, which I believe you say is having a travel trailer and maybe selling your condo. You can do it, and you should do it. You're a smart guy. Plan for your exits, but enjoy your life, brother. Thank you again, Mary Taz, for the gracious super chat. Even amongst your hard day, I don't look past that you're trying to encourage me on your hard day. Thank you. Thank you, Infinity, brother. Your love has been overflowing for a long time, as far as, in a healthy way, I say that. And I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Beautiful Sabrina, very kind. She goes, "You are speaking nothing but truth." Thank you. And I'm sorry I'm late to this comment, Sabrina. Forgive me. She goes, "You are speaking nothing but truth. I tried that sleeping the pain away thing. That's where I went wrong. I'm trying to recover now by getting my life in control in all areas." Well, again, Sabrina, I appreciate you sharing your testimony. There's a scripture that says there's two ways people overcome: by the word of their testimony, by sharing your experience, and by the blood of the lambs. Some believe in Christian theology by the grace of Jesus Christ. So again, as far as religion, everyone believe what they want, even if it's no religion. As far as sharing your experience, I think that's common sense. Okay, I think that there's nothing religious, but there is something powerful about sharing your testimony. When you look to go to a mechanic, to go to a doctor, to go to a hotel, the first thing you look is on Google reviews. You look at people's testimony. Okay? It's so powerful that that is what you seek out before you do something. So never underestimate you sharing your experience. Very powerful. Thank you again, Sabrina, for the gracious tip. Fred, aha. Yeah, I just quoted Kelly Rowland. Thank you, brother. Love to you, and thank you for all your encouragement along my journey. I'll never forget it. Never. D, thank you again for the tip and telling me to smell the roses. And you are correct. One day at a time, one step at a time. Excellent comment. Thank you. My girl ESP. Amen, Sam. I'm not cutting out Starbucks either. Nope. I work hard for the little luxuries in life. So true. Again, it's like, you got to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And even me, I know I've sacrificed in a lot of areas. And, look, I'm willing to sacrifice. I've proved it. But I also have to now balance my life and add some comfort. And, look, the reason that you sacrifice is so that you can enjoy some things. Now, again, to the point that Tony made, I do think that if you're in a tough situation, cut some of the luxuries. But I also agree, as long as you can afford the luxuries and they're not excessive, and you can still meet your objectives. I mean, if having Starbucks every day makes your quality of life better, I mean, don't drink fucking like free gas station coffee. If having a home base or if not having a home base, if that makes your quality of life better, I understand both. I've done both. Do it as long as it's below your means. Okay, so these are the things of life. D, how is it sleeping in the bed? I'll tell you this. I got a king size bed, very comfortable. The sheets are amazing. The pillows are amazing. And I love the fact that I got the place and everything's furnished, everything's here. It's perfect studio apartment like, as far as in a hotel room. I got a work desk. I got a little like microwave, little refrigerator. I got a sleeping area, I got a nice bathroom, and I got this little lounge chair I'm on now. This is all I need, a 200 square foot place. Now, I would love that if this was a $100,000 condo where I had on-site laundry, on-site pool. Now, the $100,000 condo I looked at had a lot of stuff, and a little bit I regret not getting it. Okay, but I'm ready now if the right opportunity comes. Because what I can tell you is I don't want to get caught in the system. That's true. Uh, ESP, yes, the Starbucks stock symbol SBUX in my retirement account. No joke. As long as you have your savings account too, I'm happy for you. Look, I would have did good if I would have just kept my money in the index fund and never sold it. I remember I took my 401k out of the index fund when the stock market, when the Dow Jones was at 18,000. And when it went back to 18,000 last year with the coronavirus, I was this close to putting it back in, and I didn't. And I would have doubled my money. But I could say a lot of things in life. And what I can tell you is the general wisdom is get a savings account, pay off your debt, live a budget every month below your means, and have a diversified account, which pretty much means an index fund. Now, any of those can go wrong, but if your investments go wrong, the worst thing that happens, even if you lose everything, is you have a savings account, you have no debt, and you have a job. And even if you lose your job, you have no debt and you have a savings account. So you have some resources to not get caught in the system. And that's why I tell you too, have a side hustle, right? So if you lose your main job, look, it sucks. That's your health care, especially in America. There's a lot of, it's your big money, but you have a side hustle. Yeah, the best time to get a job is when you have a job. The best time to do something on the side is when you don't need to, because then you can do it how you want to do it, and you can take your time. When you operate off desperation, you're going to get desperate results. And that's what I'm telling you tonight with this home base or this renting and versus buying, or if you don't do something when you can, don't rush. What's going to happen is you're going to have to do something when you don't want to do it, and you're going to have to rush. And that's how you get caught in the system. That's the message tonight, guys. Okay. Um, let's go back to live comments. D heard a lot of drugs in cocoa. There may be some cocoa. I haven't known, and I've been in cocoa plenty of times, even recently. Cocoa Beach, I wouldn't say as high drugs, has some, not high poverty, some. I would say Cocoa Beach off Highway A1A overall is cocoa. If you go over the bridge to Cocoa, it's a disaster. Okay, Cocoa Beach on Highway A1A, the intercoastal, it's good overall. Not luxury, but good. If you go to Cocoa right over the bridge, disaster. Just like Palm Beach. Palm Beach, the richest area probably in Florida, one of the richest. You go over the bridge to a bad area, West Palm Beach, one of the worst. So a bridge can separate a lot in Florida. But what I would tell you is the quality of life just 15 minutes south in Satellite Beach is way better. That's my experience. Um, D, I wanted Pat to know have to be very careful. Well, definitely in Cocoa. Yeah, at Cocoa Beach a little bit better, but Cocoa, I agree with you. Mary Taz, I'll be okay. I'm usually really positive. I just have to think this through. I do have two home bases set up. Oh, that's good. One on each coast. Well, that's a blessing. There you go. Way to be grateful. I was on the ground today for 2.5 hours and couldn't get up. That will humble you, and I totally empathize. Two things. One is my mom's last job. She worked at Acme when she was in her 70s to supplement her retirement, and she fell working behind the bakery, and she couldn't get up for a little bit of time, and that basically knocked her out of the workforce. She worked into her 70s, and it's humbling. And I remember in my 30s, I had a health scare. I had nerve damage, and I went into the emergency room, and it put a new perspective on life. Even when I got the first shot of the vaccine and I was sick for 5 days, it made me refocus on being a little bit more positive. So having a health problem sucks. I don't wish it on anyone. The good news is let it refocus your life to the right things. Mary Taz says, I'll be retiring at 62. Well, congratulations. What I tell everyone is, for me, I know I'm going to try to do it. As long as you can economically do it and live below your means and live a quality of life you want, retire as soon as you can. Now, here's the other thing, though. There's some people that they need to work until the day they die, even if it's just for supplemental income or to keep them busy. But the quality of life, it doesn't matter if you retire or not. It matters if you can retire. If you could retire today, even if you want to work till the day you die, you're blessed because you're doing it because you want to do it. And that's retirement. Whether you're 25, 35, or 75. When you can retire today, but still work, you're retired because you have this mental relief that you are doing what you want to do. And that's a blessing from the Lord. Wandering off, aka Lean. Hey, Wandering. I also want to buy property of some sort in Florida. Do you think prices will keep going up through the summer? Normally, in late summer, September, October, those are the best time for deals. Obviously, I think as we get past the pandemic, hopefully, inventory levels will come back up to a little bit of normal. And prices, whether or not they drop, no one knows. They may stabilize and not appreciate as much. But what I would tell you is this, very important. Never buy a place, even in Florida, until you've lived here for a couple years or visited a lot of times. Because again, West Palm Beach and Palm Beach are totally different. Cocoa and Cocoa Beach are totally different. I'm talking about there's areas that 5 minutes separate them, but the quality of life is like being in another country. I could take you to parts of Florida, guys, you think you're in a third world country. I could take you to parts of Florida. You think you're in the richest. I mean, you think this is like fucking amazing, heaven. Okay. So what happens is, and I almost did this, is you want to come to Florida. You're desperate to come to Florida. You look on Realtor.com and you see great pictures. Remember, pictures of real estate, whether on Realtor.com or Zillow, remember, they're like Instagram photos of a girl. You're not seeing really what she looks like. Okay. You're seeing the filter. You're seeing the angle. Like, guys, you look at me right now, this angle of me, I'm looking good. Okay. But if I get up and I show you a picture of my wide ass in a certain angle, I wouldn't be looking as good. Okay. So everything is about angles, about lighting. Okay, certain lighting, I look very good. Certain lighting, So the point is, you cannot go off photos or even the data, even some of the data on crime rates or schools. Now, you need some of that data, but you also need to visit the area. You need to walk around the neighborhood at different times of the day and night. You need to go and look at the hospitals. You need to go and look at the beaches. I went to almost every beach in Florida and I would pick up the sand and I would feel the texture of the sand. I would look at the different, the further north you are in Florida, the darker the color of the ocean, the further south, the lighter. But Miami is a complete congestion. Like, I would never buy property in Miami. When I was young, I was looking at property on Collins Ave. So you have to always think that you need to be very, very versed in an area before you buy property. Because now, again, maybe I'm taking too long. Now I'm kind of honing in, but at least give some serious thought and some serious time in an area before you commit. All right, guys and girls, I think we banged it out again. And I'm very grateful for everyone who watched tonight. 94 people in here right now, 70 thumbs up. Thank you to all my members, my newest member, Mary Taz. Thank you, D. Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you, Infinity. Thank you, Mary Taz. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Hal. Thank you, Keeping Up with Bree. Andre, Frankencat, Tony, Kathy, ESP, Adam, Timothy, one of my newer members. My man Fred, Keith, hang in there, brother. Jersey Life Lynn, very beautiful. D, very supportive. Pat Go, great sense of humor. My man Infinity, Sabrina, so kind. My man Fred, so encouraging. And Wandering Off, appreciate you. What I could tell you is keep showing up. And what I could tell you is you want to make, at a certain point, proactive moves so that you don't get caught in the system. And when you're desperate and when you have to make moves, that's how you get caught in the system. And that is the message tonight. Thank you, D. Thank you, everyone. Love.